If you love what you're listening to here, you are going to love our 21-day magical self-care challenge. This is more than just a challenge. It is a community, and it includes our magical self-care course and 2 PDF books, the Magical Self-Care book and the Born Magic book. Both bestsellers on their release date on Amazon, and we can't wait to get them into your hands. Join us for the 21-day magical self-care challenge. And by the end of the class, you are going to have some new magical tools in your tool belt, and you are also going to feel supported, and you're going to have the steps to easily and efficiently bring self-care into your life as the foundation of your life, so you don't have to seek it out every day, because your whole life will be built on magical self-care. Check out the link to join us in the 21-day challenge, and we can't wait to see you in there. Capricorn season is in full swing, Enchanted Sisters, and I always thought of Capricorn as like the CEO of the Zodiac. It's like this energy of getting stuff done and really being the boss. And I think of like buttoned up suits and whatnot. But my friend and colleague here at the Sisters Enchanted, Kiara Boggs, made me think about Capricorn in a different way. And that's what we're talking about on today's podcast episode. If the word witch makes you feel full of power and excitement, if you love personal development but loathe boring love and light conversation, if a sexy combo of witchery and inner work piques your interest, you're in the right place. Welcome home, Magic Maker, and welcome to Expedition to Soul, the podcast brought to you by the Sisters Enchanted. Happy 2024, everybody. Are we excited for a new year? Pulse check. How are you feeling? How's everyone feeling right now? We just walked into the new year. We're only 2 days in. Do you already feel like time is flying by? That's how it is. Remember, time is a myth, everybody. Time is a construct, and we can learn how to lean into the rhythms around us to help us bend time, stretch time, and make the most efficient and magical use of our time. But that does require we be intentional. We understand how we want to feel. We live a values aligned life, all that good stuff. If you're struggling with any of that, you know where to find us. We've got tools, classes, programs that will help. But today we're here to talk about Capricorn. And I love the topic of Capricorn because I have a lot of Capricorn people in my life with strong Capricorn placements, and it's one that I have really struggled with. But until recently, Kiara, who wrote an article that I'm going to actually read the article to you here today, but she wrote an article for our Stay Magic magazine on this topic and really left me thinking about Capricorn in a different way. So let me tell you, I am a Cancer rising. That's how I view the world. It's like your soul, how your soul views the world. And I'm a Cancer rising, and so that's the opposite of Capricorn. So I joke that like Capricorn is not my favorite energy. And it's not really a joke. I guess I'm kind of serious about it. But my husband is a Capricorn rising, so we see everything opposite. I see white, he sees black. He sees black, I see white. Anna, my sister, is a Capricorn moon. One of my very best friends, Emily, has a Capricorn moon. At the Sisters Enchanted, I weirdly tend to bring in teammates who have strong Capricorn placements without even realizing it. So we've had a couple Capricorn moons and Capricorn suns and risings on our team. And every time I'm like, that makes sense. I see why you and I are struggling to get on the same page. So I've always felt a little resistant to Capricorn energy. I do have one planet in Capricorn. My Neptune is in Capricorn, but it is in the same house as my 5-planet Sagittarius stellium. So I think even there is some resistance, to that Capricorn energy. It's like the one thing that's off in the house with all this Sagittarius. And then Capricorn rules my 7th house, which actually doesn't have any placements in it. And so again, just this like resistance in general I've been feeling. But I read this article from Kiara, and it really made me rethink Capricorn energy. And after reading the article, rather than thinking of Capricorn as the CEO of the Zodiac and really like buttoned up and structured, I've reimagined thinking of this energy as like the visionary of the zodiac, which might not be the exact right. Like, I bet there's an astrologer listening or one of our teammates. We've got everyone on our team is a certified astrologer. So one of them is listening and is like, actually, Sarah, such and such is the visionary. But I mean like the visionary leader rather than the structured leader. That's two different things. There's the leader who checks all the boxes, and then there's the leader who sort of carries the vision up the hill. And that's how I'm now seeing Capricorn energy. Over on our blog, if you're interested in this topic, we do have on our blog post that is associated with this podcast episode when it releases, we've got a walk through the 12 houses. So, what Capricorn means for the 12 houses, if you want to go and look at yours. Mine, for example, in the seventh house. And of course, I can't actually read what it says. Mine in the seventh house, in relationships, looking for a power couple vibe. You want someone who's ambitious and reliable as you are. Business meetings with you are like TED Talks, inspiring, informative, and to the point. I can definitely relate to that last part about the business meetings being like TED Talks. I feel like every time I have a business meeting, it turns into a TED Talk, but I'm not typically to the point. So that's a little sideways there. That's the thing about astrology. You got to find yourself in it. But if you head on over to the blog, you'll find these bits of information for each of the 12 houses, and you can look at your birth chart and see where Capricorn is for you, and then learn a little bit more about that. We also have some Capricorn journal prompts for the 5 expansion archetypes over on the blog as well. So get on over there, check those out. You can also find those in our free Stay Magic magazine. So lots of resources for you to go with this Capricorn energy, but that blog post is great. It's got like everything in one place. So definitely take a peek at that. All right. Without further ado, I'm going to actually read to you the article that Kiara wrote. It's in our Stay Magic magazine, and it's called Capricorn Season, Building Your Spiritual Foundation. All right. Everyone ready? You got your cup of tea, you're cozy. I'm ready. Let's do this. Stop right there. Think about some keywords you associate with the zodiac sign of Capricorn. These likely zip to the top of mind. Structure, rules, boundaries, tradition, career, rigid, earth, leader, and Sarah's favorite, the CEO of the Zodiac. But did you think of any of these? Magic, water, mysticism, fun, spiritual, insightful, and creative. My guess is these keywords were not the first ones to mentally emerge when considering Capricorn. Yet they are an integral part of that sign's energy, the entire reason that it seeks to build boundaries and structure for others in the first place. If we want to use Capricorn to create a spiritual foundation, then we need to first honestly understand it. Realize that those common keywords we have come to hold dear are the byproducts of what Capricorn is actually doing. Seeing deep into the core truth of magical chaos and building ways for others to understand just as it does. Interest piqued? Mine certainly is. Let us seek this understanding together that Capricorn wants us to embrace. Capricorn is one of the oldest constellations on record and was arranged into many forms throughout mythology and astronomy long before it was incorporated into astrological traditions. In the Western zodiac, it is the eldest earth sign and rules the 10th astrological house of career, goals, and public reputation. Pretty standard stuff, but are we really sailing past the flashing hint of magic that is the symbol of a half goat, half fish? I don't know about you, but that seems pretty whimsical to me. It may as well be a unicorn up there, and neither of those images strike rigid foundation into my thoughts. I suspect we have stumbled over our first hint at Capricorn's true nature, hidden in plain sight, no less. Further investigation into this strange chimera is needed, and away into the past we must be swept. The mythos surrounding Capricorn and general fish-goat hybrids is rich, spanning several thousands of years. Our earliest known imagery comes from Sumerian tablets, in which the god A, also called Enki, was pictured as a goat for the front half and a fishtail for the back half. This deity embodied magic, water, and wisdom, but in a practical way, in a way of creation and tangibility, and making magical energy usable. I think we found another hint number 2 at Capricorn's core energy. Let's skip forward in time to the ancient Greeks for our last hint and get the deity Pan involved. He always seems to sneak in. Capricorn mythos evolved and split into many stories by this point. One story tells of intelligent sea goats that were drawn towards land and transformed into normal, full, four-legged goats the longer they spent on it. Another tells of Pan and sometimes other goddesses or gods in place of him, escaping a conflict by transforming into a sea goat and diving into the Nile. I guess hooves are great for swimming? Zeus was so impressed, he cast the image of his new form into the stars for eternal admiration. Not exactly a clear-cut structured energy, is it? I mean, transforming oneself into a hybrid land sea animal on the fly certainly requires flexible creative thinking. One thing throughout the ages and stories is quite clear, though. Capricorn energy is resourceful, insightful, and not afraid to commit to life altering circumstances. Oh, Anna will be thrilled that mythology gave us these hints. The mermaid goat stares into the universe's heart. Goats do love to stare, where the swirling chaos of existence and magic entangle. It stares and understands our connections to every single atom across galaxies. It stares and see how those connections can be tangibly harnessed and structured according to desire. Unflinchingly, it stares, intensely feeling the bonds across all and overcome with longing to share this ability. A sharp moment of grief as Capricorn knows not everyone can stare as deeply as it can. Hope glimmers as they accept they must become the builder of ways to realize their longing, pulling their gaze away from the beautiful heart, leveling their emotional duality of joyful understanding and grief of loneliness to create the foundation of structures for others to stare. Whew, wasn't expecting to wax a bit poetic there, but it is difficult not to when you begin to see what is really happening with this noble sign. Take a moment to give your magical core a good stare. Ask yourself these questions. How do you want your magical energy to flow? Spontaneously, sharply, smoothly, or at a steady rate? What feelings do you desire to invoke while performing your practice? Why is harnessing magical energy for tangible use important to you? Where do you best feel energetic connections? When I ponder these questions, for I would not ask of you something I would not ask of myself, I perceive several things. I crave constant magical connection, a steady flow that stabilizes my power. I desire to feel that universal ecstatic bond amongst all things through my emotions, while also feeling that energy crackle through the air. I wish to bring tangible practice into my world for the beautiful power to improve, explore, and participate in my own existence. Participate in my own existence. I love that. Knowing those things, I keep magical items around me constantly to remind myself I am always connected. I prefer deep meditation and divination methods that require drawing on emotional power. I frequently seek new knowledge to enrich my practices. I study quantum entanglement in efforts to understand universal bonds and subsequently work with them. This is my spiritual foundation. Yours will likely look quite different as you may seek experiences through the alchemy of the universe and use kitchen witchery or potion making. Perhaps you desire spontaneous connections with flashes of insight, casting items into flames and catching that quick glimpse that forms in the smoke. How we structure our rituals, mindsets, tools, traditions, and spaces should all focus on the facilitation of our magical core into tangible reality. The most enchanting part is these methods can be shared across space and time through countless ages and allow so many others to acquire the ability to stare. Oh my goodness. Kiara Boggs brought it with that article. Look within. And that is a lesson of Capricorn that I had not considered before. What I love about Kiara is, firstly, she's one of the smartest people I know, hands down. Secondly, she has this way about her of really weaving together the tangible with the intangible. And she has herself some Capricorn, heavy Capricorn energy and Pisces as well. So she is really in tune with that blending of what can't be seen with what can be seen. So I love her authority on this topic and how she brought it to this article. Thank you, Kiara, if you're listening. So I would love to know, find us on social media, or if you could watch this or listen, or if you're in our community group where there's a space for you to comment, where is Capricorn in your birth chart? And what can you take from this? I know that I'm looking at Capricorn in a completely different light than I did before. And where before I was like resistant to Capricorn energy, now I am sort of stepping back and I'm like, how though can I lean into it a little bit more? And knowing where Capricorn is in my chart in that seventh house, how can I reconsider how I invite other people to look within as a leader? So it's in my seventh house, and that is, a little bit of one of those leadership type houses. And how can I encourage other people with my Capricorn there to have that visionary energy for themselves? How can I lead them in that way? So a new way. I've always thought of it as so rigid, and now I'm thinking about it completely different. All right. Well, Capricorn season is in full swing until January 19th. Capricorn hits us December 22nd, the day the sun rises again after the shortest day of the year, and is with us till January 19th. So go head to the blog post, find the Capricorn through the houses notes to identify your information, and also check out those journal prompts and dive into them at any time. All right. Thank you so much for listening in to today's podcast episode. And until next time, I hope that you have an enchanted rest of your day ahead. But wait, before we head out of today's podcast episode, we're going to break for a Ask Me Anything segment. I'm here with a quick Ask Me Anything segment. This is a new thing we're trying as part of the podcast. I asked questions, or I said in my community group, our community group, the community group for the Sisters Enchanted, ask me anything. And I got a range of questions from personal life to how to use different magical tools. And I'm going to answer them as the questions come in. We have enough for a couple months worth now. So we're going to do them one by one, and then we'll dive in more as we get more questions. So if you're in one of the community groups and you haven't asked me anything, you can find that post, or you can put it in the comments of one of the episode posts, or if you get our emails, respond back, and Team TSE will collect those. Let me know, and maybe your question will be on an Ask Me Anything. The more specific, the better, because some of them are just like topical, and then that could be like a whole thing, right? So the more specific your question, the better. This question was on the witch wound, or the mother wound, excuse me. This question was on the mother wound. The witch wound is a similar topic though, but a little bit different. Now, we talk about the mother wound in a couple different places in our programming. We talk about it in our 21-day magical self-care challenge. It's part of the course that you get access to. And we also teach about it in our Enchanted Journey membership. And I don't know that it might briefly be mentioned in Holistic Witchery, but it's not like a topic in there. So maybe not. Definitely Enchanted Journey membership. Definitely self-care course with the challenge. So the mother wound, really, well, all wounds are these emotional wounds. When we talk about wounding in this way, we're talking about emotional wounds. And these emotional wounds are generally thematic for all of us. So the witch wound is a big one, the school wound, the sister wound, the mother wound. Those are kind of ones that, well, the school wound impacts everybody, but for women in particular, mother, sister, witch, and school wound are the kind of the biggest ones. And the mother wound is really the emotional wounding that comes from the relationship with your mother. It's as easy as that. But some people, I think, get hung up on it because some people might say, well, I don't have a mother figure, I didn't have one, or my relationship with my mother was great and I don't have any wounds associated with it. So I challenge you to pull back and reconsider how you're thinking about wounding. Your relationship with your mother may have been absolutely amazing, and if you are constantly filtering your thoughts, like, well, what would my mother do? What would she say about this? My mother was so great. How do I live up to that? That actually is a mother wound. If you did not have a mother present, I mean, that is in of itself a giant mother wound. So we want to look at these ties and stories to our mothers and how they impacted us, what we think about ourselves, and how we drive decisions as related to them. And healing these emotional wounds or acknowledging them, becoming self aware of them, helps us to come home to our true selves and who we are outside of the people and societal structures that told us who we are. And our mothers don't do this. Most mothers aren't doing this on purpose. I'm a mother of two little kids, and well, they're not so little anymore. They're 6 and they're 9, but I'm sure that my 9-year-old already, I can tell, oh gosh, look at that. That's going to come up again when she's 27. So we all do it. We do it to each other, not intentionally. And so considering the stories you tell yourself and how you hold yourself back because of the relationship you have with your mother. So wherever it is on the spectrum of really, really great to really, really not great, there is the possibility that there is a mother wound there that needs healing. And the key to that, and the reason we do it, is so that we can come back to ourselves, to who we are, and detach from the expectation of other people and the stories other people put on us that keep us from living in alignment with our truest selves and our highest desires. And if you're listening to this and you think, I don't have any mother wounds, we all have them. Like I said, even with the best relationships, there is perhaps something there. And I would consider you to acknowledge it. Sometimes that's all it takes, is just like, oh, yeah, I see that. And then once you see it, you're able to sort of step away from it or stop perpetuating it. Not everything requires deep healing, in my opinion. Sometimes we're just able to say, I see where that's coming from. And just acknowledging and the awareness is all you need. So think about that. And what parts of you do you get from your mother? Do they serve you? What stories do you tell yourself because of who your mother is or your mother figure or what they said to you? And if you are a person who was not raised with a mother, then right there is society saying something about you and what that means about you. And then can you work on that as the mother wound? That is something to consider as well, because if you don't have a mother figure or a woman as your mother, right, then society says something about that. And then there might be a wound there for you to heal as well. All right. So really starting with that word mother, and also how you mother yourself. That's a whole other podcast episode, but how you mother yourself too, because we do need to nurture ourselves and mother ourselves and parent ourselves. And if we aren't effectively able to do that, there can be some mother wound stuff there to uncover as well. All right. Happy mother wound healing. And I'll see you, I guess, in the next Ask Me Anything segment. I think we're going to have them once a week. So I guess I'll see you in a week for another Ask Me Anything. If you love the podcast, be sure to leave us a rating or a review. That helps us to get the word out about all we're doing here at the Sisters Enchanted. Thanks for being part of our community, and we'll see you in the next episode.